Sunday scaries. This is always the brutal part of our Monday show. Michael Pittman, 8 targets, which looks good, Jay. Only caught 3 of them for 21 yards. And Michael Pittman's just allergic to the end zone, it feels like.
Wide receiver 57 on the day, 5.1 fantasy points. You don't like that. I mean, to me, this is, yes, it's Michael Pittman who's the Sunday scary. This is a product of Anthony Richardson and the fact that we're getting more and more sample. He is just not accurate, under 50% completion percentage on the season. And the biggest problem with Richardson is that when he is in situations where teams know that he has to throw, he just has not been able to succeed in that. It is boom or bust. It's either run or throw it 50 yards down the field. And that's not really Michael Pittman's game. So I think it's going to get better. I believe in Shane Steichen, believe in the moldable clay of Anthony Richardson, but it's not looking good at the moment for Michael Pittman. I mean, you're going to have to bench him some weeks at this point.
Honestly, next 2 games, home to Chicago, home to Pittsburgh, 2 very good defenses. That's
brutal.
It's not great.
And when Josh Downs gets reintegrated in this offense, the target share might not stay as high as it's been.
Yeah.
That's so just more concerns for Pittman.
And Alec Pierce is going to be a thing. Right. I mean, had another nice game today. He's going to be enough of a thing that you have to be concerned if you have Pittman on your roster.
Amari Cooper, a similar stat line, Matthew. 8 targets, only caught 3 of them, 11 yards. Just not much going.
Yeah, no, he isn't. I mean, again, the Browns won. I don't know that beating the Jaguars is that big of a feat these days, but Amari Cooper, if there's a positive to hang your hat on, he does have a 22% target share through 2 games, but Deshaun Watson has looked bad, right? He looked better in week 2 than he did in week 1, but he hasn't looked great.
The bar was low.
And by the way, Jerry Jeudy's going to be a thing. He's going to – I don't know that you're going to want Jerry Jeudy on your fantasy team, but he's going to get enough work that it's going to take away from Amari Cooper in a game in which the Browns won and David Njoku was out. Amari Cooper should have had a better day than he did. He's caught, to your point, Connor, he's caught 29% of his targets, just 5 of 17. He's averaging under 4 fantasy points per game. It's just bad. 4.1 fantasy points. He's wide receiver 67 on the week going into Monday Night Football. It's been bad so far.
Jay, Matthew mentioned how poorly things are going for Jacksonville right now. Christian Kirk is being dragged down with that. A brutal fantasy day. 3 targets, 1 catch for -1 yard.
He's 2 catches through 2 weeks. So, I mean, he just can't be healthy. He was dealing with injuries in the offseason. I just assumed that he's not healthy and that it has to get better. But, I mean, at this point, I don't think you can start Christian Kirk until we see him look just physically right and have more than 1 catch in a game.
Other than Brian Thomas Jr. and ETN, I don't know that there's a Jaguar you want. They're on the road at Buffalo next week, then they're at Houston. Yeesh. Let me see something.
Even Brian Thomas. Brian Thomas had 2 catches. It's just they were massive if you had 94 yards on the 2 catches. I believe in Brian Thomas more, but still, I don't feel good about anyone in this
Pass offense looks brutal on this team right now.
Jaguars are 0-2, and they had 2 home games. And again, now they've got to go on the road at Buffalo and on the road at Houston. Very good chance they're 0-4, and massive changes coming to that organization. Shad Khan is not going to be patient, I don't think. Given how the Jaguars ended last season, the investment they made in Trevor Lawrence, and they start 0-4. I don't know.
Another organization just going nowhere, unfortunately, right now, the Panthers. It has not gone well for Bryce Young, and because of that, Matthew, it's not gone well for Deontay Johnson. He got 6 targets, only caught 3 of them, 15 yards. There seems to be a lot of frustration there. I don't think this will get better until there's a quarterback change.
You know what? They're at Las Vegas next week, which is a good defense, not a great defense. But honestly, you would feel a lot better about Deontay Johnson if Andy Dalton was under center. You just would at this point. It's unfortunate to say. But, the Deontay Johnson argument in the preseason, and he was somebody I advocated for, was just massive target share, and he's gotten that. 22% target share through 2 games, 6 targets in both games this year, technically 21.8%. But just honestly, Bryce Young's looked bad, and they're getting blown out of games, and so far no one else has stepped up to provide competition. Teams are just we're going to go double Deontay. It's awful.
A package deal for our last Sunday scaries with the Lions here, Jay. Jared Goff, a lot of yards, but 2 picks, no touchdowns. Sam LaPorta, only 3 targets, 2 catches, 13 yards.
Don't understand what's happening with the Lions offense. Week 1, it's all Jameson Williams, and Amon-Ra St. Brown just an afterthought. Amon-Ra St. Brown gets 1 million targets yesterday, and then it's his offense all of a sudden. The biggest problem is Jared Goff has just been horrific so far. Both games, he's been terrible. These interceptions are awful. I don't know these final drives, I don't even understand what he's trying to do. On the season, he's 26th in EPA per play for quarterbacks. That is the same region as Deshaun Watson, Will Levis, and Bo Nix. That's how bad Jared Goff has been.
He's played 2 home games, and we spent so much of the offseason talking about how good he is in a dome, especially at home. He's averaging 10.1 fantasy points per game in 2 home games. Now they got to go to Arizona, which suddenly looks tougher. And then they're home to Seattle. By the way, and him being bad has hurt Sam LaPorta, who has just 8 total targets through 2 games. You still have to roll LaPorta out there, but if Jared Goff's your only quarterback, I think you got to start looking at the waiver wire and making some trades. I don't know that you can trust him until we see it. Again, it's been tough. He has not looked good. Hey, it's Matthew Berry from NBCSports.com and RotoWorld.com, and I want to thank you so much for watching whatever it is you just watched, or if nothing else, being too lazy to click out of the autoplay after this video started, after whatever it is you actually wanted to watch finished. But now that you're here, I'd like to take a moment here to ask you respectfully now, okay? I'm asking you respectfully to subscribe to the NFL on NBC YouTube channel. You'll get the latest RotoWorld fantasy news headlines, all sorts of great shows, including my own Fantasy Football Happy Hour. So go subscribe now. Again, I'm asking respectfully.